Hey guys, it's Jan, also known as Zen Bluster, and today we're going to take a look at the 324 object propeller shaft repair tool. And this tool actually works on all of the propeller shafts that come with the chassis, the regular 1.4 millimeter, the most common one, the most common propeller shaft, basically that one. This thing right here, you know, you've seen that on the most recent chassis. You're going to see this on AR, Super 2, and on VS basically. And of course this also works on, you know, TZ, TZX, Super 1 and chassis like that. And this Super X propeller shaft, it also works on this thing. I'll show you real quick that you can use it for its most basic function, which is pulling the pinions out. Basically, you just keep turning it to the right, and then that comes out. That's right. And pull it back, and then you could either shake it out or pull the pin a little bit more and then remove the pinion like that. Also works for Super FM, the Type 5 propeller shaft as well. But as far as I know, not a lot of you people out there use a Type 5 chassis, so it's not really what you have to worry about. But yeah, this is the the stock 2mm shaft, and as you can see, it works on that just fine as well. And all of the functions that I'm going to show you will also work on the 2mm shaft. So let's go ahead and remove this. And the most basic function that you're going to see whenever you get another shaft, let's say this is the hollow propeller 1.4mm shaft, you know, the most basic one, the one that will fit on Super 2 and AR and VS. Sometimes you're going to see the shaft poking out a little bit too much, or like in reverse where it's basically too deep, stuff like that. And if you want to be able to adjust that, like without having to use like some pliers and then twisting or pulling the pinions out, this is the easiest way to do it. So let's take a look at this one again. You see the shaft is poking through. We're gonna adjust it so that the pinion is further out of place, because let's see, as far as I know, this doesn't fit yet when you pop it in. Okay, now it fits just fine. So there you go. That's how that's the most common use of the 324 object repair tool. And if you want to, as you can guess, you could also remove the pinion, like I showed you earlier with the Super X and for the Super FM 2mm shaft. You keep pushing it in and then it'll pop. Sometimes it pops, sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time that I've used it, it does. Basically, the tension releases from the hold of the pinion on the shaft, and then that makes the pinion actually pop out of position. Just makes it easier for us to work on it. Alright, so let's say you've already taken out the pinion that's bad. It has some it has some teeth or tooth problems, and you find a new one basically that you like, that you've removed from another shaft, and you're putting it in this one. So some of the directions that you're gonna see, there's a video out there that shows you to to put this in position like this, right? And as you can see, the shaft is kind of very deep away from the tip of the pinion. That means it's not installed in completely yet. There's guides out there that show you to hammer it back in place to reinstall the pinion. You want to hammer it in like this by using the gap on the channel of this of the tool right here, right there, this gap right here. What I recommend you do is do it this way. what you do is you remove the knob. Remove the knob like that. The pin actually is removable. It does not turn with the knob completely. Let's pop that pin out. Let's grab it from this end. Or you could probably just shake it out too. There you go. The pin actually has a shock right there. There's a spring right here. What that does is that it's a tensioner. It relieves a little bit of too much tension. What that does is that when you're pushing it, the pin into the shaft right here, and it's pushing the pinion out. What it does is that it basically delays the push, or minimizes the force, and then it makes it smoother whenever it's pushing the gear out of the shaft. So that's actually pretty good design for a 324 object. If you want to push this pinion back in, instead of doing it that way, where you hammer into that, what I recommend that you do is you take your shaft like this. Since you've removed the pin, if you look closely, there's a hole. What that hole does is that it allows you to press the pinion up to it, like that. The shaft, if you hammer it in like this, that shaft will actually protrude into that hole, basically. And that what that does is that it prevents the shaft from bending. Because if you use it like this, whenever you're gonna hold it, this is the easiest way to hold it and keep that shaft straight. It's holding it like this is not easy to position the gear to where the channel is gonna be. Holding it like this makes it so that it's more likely for you to bend the shaft. So I recommend you do it this way instead. Hold it in the channel, put your thumb right here, basically right at the top. You might slip as you actually start pressing it down, and then support it with your pinky and the other two fingers like this on this side, like this, and then your choice of blunt tool. Basically, if you want to use a hammer, you could use a hammer, but I'm going to use these kitchen shears that I have. So pop, press that in, and as you can see, the shaft is now in position. That actually makes it so much easier rather than doing it like this. When you do it like this, as you can see, the channel, that whole channel right here, this position all the way up to here, supports the shaft, and that minimizes your chance of actually bending it. And a bent shaft is actually going to make your car lose speed. All of that time that you spent working on the gears is basically for nothing if your shaft is bent. And bending it back into the correct shape is going to be a pain in the butt, because there's really no tool to do that yet. All right. There's another way that this tool is being used as well. So if you continue doing what I did, let's say you want to secure the pinion onto the shaft, there's multiple ways. Ways that you could do that, and the most common way is to file the tip of the shaft underneath where the gear is going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep hammering it up until there's a lot more of the shaft showing. So hold it like that again. See if you could hammer it in the correct place. Yeah, see, kind of like that, but a little bit more. Let's keep hammering it. Alright. So now this is mostly what it would look like after you've hammered it for a little bit. And the most common way to make it so that your pinion is secure is to file it right around this tip right here, basically. After you file it, you clean off the filings, basically, and then you put a little bit of glue. Right, that's what most people do, but I prefer not to do that. I prefer just scoring it with a Sharpie, cut lines into it, crisscrossing basically this way and then that way, all around the tip of that shaft, and then clean off all the extra metal that's you've cut out a little bit. And then what I'm gonna do is use this channel right here next. Basically, What that channel allows you to do is press this pinion in. Now, when you're doing this, you want to try to go slow after you put the glue in, but it doesn't really matter, at least for me, since I don't do that. But if it's up to you and you need to do this, then go ahead and do it like this. Just go slowly, press it down. Yeah, press it down like that. This slowly. That's actually going to push in quite far. And there you go. Now you still have a little bit of the shaft protruding. Now you can go back and then just slowly put the pin back in and the knob. Alright, push this back in. Let me see if I have some room. I guess not. Let me pull this back a little more. There you go. Push that in. Go slowly. Most of the time, what you're going to want to do is push it in slowly. Like that. You take it off, and then you keep testing it up until it fits the gear channels just fine. As you can see, this one is still a little too tight. I'm going to keep pressing, keep turning. Okay, that's it. When you install your shaft, you want it to be tight, but not too tight. See, there's still a little bit of play. Let me focus on the gear. Hopefully you can see what I mean. There is a very slight play right there. And that is exactly what you want. Alright. This has been my overview of the 324 Object propeller shaft repair tool. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please like, subscribe, and share, and thanks for watching. Go race.